Do you know why it is so difficult to maintain a sharp picture as the screen size gets larger for an ultra short throw laser projector? Well, let me explain. If you want to have a large screen size in terms of the picture output, the light output needs to be bright enough in order to make it a watchable picture. But the brighter the light source, the more heat that will be generated, and this will potentially warp the optics and also the reflecting material, causing the picture to look less sharp and more uneven. This is why it is so surprising to see AWOL Vision claiming that they have actually produced a 4K laser projector that can produce a sharp picture at even a massive 200-inch screen size. And it is this projector I'm beside now. It is the Aetherion series of projectors by AWOL Vision. And if you remember the history, their last projector was almost 4 years ago in 2022. This is basically their comeback model. There has been so much that has been happening since. So this is actually a generational leap rather than just an incremental improvement. The unique selling point would be this ability to produce a sharp 4K UHD picture at a 200-inch screen size. And they basically have gone to town to try and source an amazing optic system to be able to produce this razor-sharp, pin-sharp picture. And the first element of this would be a high-index sapphire glass with an ultra-low dispersion level, virtually zero chromatic aberration to ensure a high-clarity image when it's projected on screen. The number two element would be to use a planetary coating system, trying to ensure a uniform optical coating on the lens itself. And it is so rigorous that only 50% of the lens pass the grade, and the rest maybe would have to be discarded or put in other lesser models. And in fact, they claim to be using a pharmaceutical grade clean room to do this process to ensure the highest picture quality. Now, the third thing would be a pixel lock technology, which I believe it is software based that analyzes and tries to align all these multi-element lens system to ensure pixel stability when the light source is passing through the optical path eventually to be projected on screen. But the last one, I believe, is the most important because there is a titanium thermal mesh that is inserted between the reflecting material, acting as a heat shield from the bright light source, especially if you want to project a really large picture. This will prevent any warping or any sort of shifting within the elements which may affect the focus, therefore ensuring the pixel sharpness that you see on screen. Now, there are two models here that you should know of. This is the top-end model, which is the Athereion Max. And around here, there would be the step-down model, which is the Aetherion Pro. The main difference between these two models would be that the Aetherion Max is capable of an ANSI lumens of 3300 lumens, whereas the Aetherion Pro has a slightly lower light output of around 2600 ANSI lumens. And besides that, the build quality and material used on the Aetherion Max is better with a metallic chassis, whereas the Aetherion Pro is using a plastic chassis. And there are several interesting elements implemented on the Aetherion series of projectors. And because they have actually gone to such a painstaking process of putting together the lens system, they are actually providing a motorized lens cover in order to protect it on both the Max and also the Pro. And there is also an LED strip in front of the projector as well, which can be used to sync to music and for other indicator purposes. The company has been extremely successful with the Athereion series of long-throw projectors with interchangeable lens system, and therefore they have actually imported a lot of the technologies to the Aetherion Max to make it even better. So one technology that I'm particularly impressed about on the Athereion was the enhanced black level system, and that is present on this pair of Athereion projectors as well. and there is a 0.47-inch DMD DLP projector chip from Texas Instruments, and it is the latest version to provide high native contrast of 6,000 to 1. But with the EBL, the dynamic contrast can go up to even 60,000 to 1, according to the specifications listed by AWOL Vision. And besides this, I want to probably draw your attention to the connection ports at the back of the projector. And there would be your usual HDMI 2.1 ports capable of HDR, VRR with a quoted latency of even 1 millisecond. And crucially, for those of you who keep complaining about the Ethernet ports on TVs, there is a 1 gigabits per second Ethernet port, just like on the Athereion projector. And let me take you through here to see the projector in action. They couldn't source a 200-inch screen in time for CES. So there is a 150-inch screen here where you can hopefully see the picture clarity that is coming from the projector itself. But come here, then I can actually show you a concept of an outdoor weatherproof system that AWOL Vision has developed. It is still a concept only, but from what AWOL Vision is telling me, according to their market research, many of their ultra-structural laser projector owners like to watch movies outdoors to enjoy the fresh air or whatever. So this cabinet here is a waterproof system that has a transparent cover on the top of the cabinet, and obviously it is wheelable as well if it is pouring. And the picture here looks surprisingly vibrant and clear, even in the presence of ambient light, because of the really high ANSI lumens output of the projector. And the projector will be retailing for around $4,500 in terms of the Max model, while the Pro model will be $3,500. And there will be a Kickstarter campaign probably in February where you can probably buy these projectors for a substantially cheaper price. But those are the MSRP that I've been quoted. Now, when I tested the Athereion Vision Master Max model, I was extremely impressed with many technologies there, including the enhanced black level, including the very high contrast ratio. And in addition, the anti-RB feature that claims to reduce the amount of rainbow effect you see has been transported over now not only in 2D but also in 3D, which I will be keen to explore at some point in the near future when hopefully I will get a review sample in my test room. But in the meantime, if you want to see my impressions of the Athereion Vision Master Max, please watch my review video by clicking here.